we see some if statements and an else statement. And inside of the else statement, we see another if statement. So this is called a nested if statement. It's a if statement inside of another if statement. So this is the outer if statement. And this is the nested or inner if statement. This is the if statement inside of the one that's outside. What if we wanted to add another nested if statement? Well, we could do this. Inside of the last else that we had from the previous slide, we put another if statement inside of that. What if we wanted to do another one? Well, we'll put another if else inside of the last else. We can also put it inside of the if. This doesn't look very good. It looks a little bit scary, like there's a lot of code to read, and it might be a little bit confusing. What can we do about this? Well, we can use elif, which stands for else if. So if we take the original code that we have, which just has one nested if statement, we can actually combine this else if into elif. This way, we don't have this nested else if statement anymore, and we'll bring it to an elif instead. This is the really complicated code that we had before. How can we use elif to simplify the code? Well, anytime we see an else with an if inside of it, we can change it to elif. So now the last else if is changed into elif. We can take that and change the next else if into elif. And then we see one more else if. We'll change that into elif. So now we have these if statements with these else if statements. How does that actually work? So as a recap, we changed all of these else ifs into elifs. So how does that actually work? Well, it's going to keep going down this if, elif, else until a condition is true. And then it's going to execute the code inside belonging to the if statement or elif statement, and then it'll stop. In more words, if an if or elif block executes, meaning the expression evaluates to true, then no other code will execute, and the else will also not execute. The else will only execute if the if and elif expressions all evaluate to false. So let's do some examples. This is the code that we had before. Let's say fruits is 1. If fruits divided by 2 is less than 2, is this true or false? 1 divided by 2 is 0.5. 0.5 is less than 2, so this is going to be true. And we're going to print apples. We see this elif statement, but we're actually just going to kind of ignore it because the if statement was already true. So we go and skip that into the next elif statement. This is going to get skipped as well because of the reasons I said before. It's going to keep going, sees another elif, going to skip it, and it's going to also skip the else because the if statement above is already true. Let's see another example. What if fruits is 5 this time? So we're going to do fruits divided by 2, which is 2.5. 2.5 less than 2 is going to be false. So we're going to skip the code inside of it. We go to the elif, and we're going to take a look at that. Fruits mod 2 equals 1. Fruits is 5. 5 mod 2 equals 1. So this is true, so it's going to go inside the code of this elif statement. So it's going to print bananas. It'll continue reading the code, and it'll see elif. Elif, well, it's actually going to ignore it and just skip it in general because the elif before was already true. So I'm just going to skip over this. It sees another elif, going to skip it as well. Sees the else, is going to skip it because one of the elif or if statements has already been true. Let's see yet another example. So let's say this time fruits is 10. We're going to again do if fruits divided by 2 is less than 2. This is going to be 10 divided by 2, which is 5. 5 is less than 2. This is going to be false. So we're going to not execute the code inside of this if statement. It's going to do the elif, so it's going to check if fruits mod 2 equals 1. 10 mod 2 means 10 divided by 2, remainder what? 10 divided by 2 is 5, no remainder. The remainder does not equal 1, so this is false, and it's going to not do the code inside of this elif statement. It's going to do the next elif statement, which is fruits plus 2 equals 10. Fruits is 10, 10 plus 2 is 12. 12 does not equal 10, so this is also false. It's going to skip the code inside of it and go to the next statement. We see another elif statement, and this time we're going to do fruits times 2 equals 36. Fruits is 10, 10 times 2 is 20. 20 does not equal 36, so this is going to be false, and it's going to skip the code inside of this elif statement as well. So finally, we get to the else statement. This time, it is going to execute because all of the if and elif statements above it are all false. So this time, it will go into this and print oranges. Now it's your turn to do some practice with elif in @STEM.